Hey gang, as you can see in this game we've got Teufelhund in the Tier 8 U.S. Premium Battleship Massachusetts. Taking a look at the matchmaking, well, it's pretty darn good. Yes, there are CVs in the game, but they're Tier 6 CVs. Teufelhund is top tier, and the Massachusetts is a pretty tough battleship even if up-tiered. When top tier, it can be in capable hands, devastatingly effective.
Action stations.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out. Plainly, this is a game from a little bit ago, since the Pirate Bounty weekend has been concluded for a little while. I've had this game file sitting for a bit. This last week has been exceptionally busy. There's been a lot going on, so this is the first chance I have had to sit down and take a look at this game. So, matchmaking, quite favorable. There's not a whole lot in the way of torpedo threat. Yes, Edinburgh, Mogami, York, they all have torpedoes. Of the bunch, if I had to say, I would say, Mogami probably, the torpedoes on the Mogami hit the hardest, but in order to get into position to use them, Mogami will have to put itself in harm's way. Edinburgh, I guess that's the same is true with the exception of Edinburgh having smoke, and then of course you've got the Shenyang, which has got deep water torpedoes. By the time you see those, it's usually too late, but with only one destroyer and a map that is kind of bisected in the middle by islands, I give it maybe between 1 and 3 and a 50-50 chance that our hero will even see the destroyer on his side of the map. And the mini-map does tell us, based on some early spotting from aircraft, Shenyang looked like he was headed for Charlie. So we'll see how this turns out. Traveling with our hero, Tiger 59, a ship that, well, if some of the recent reviews are any indication, it's difficult to do exceptionally well with. Holy cow, Eddie, what are you doing showing full broadside? Looks like those shots are going to be a little out ahead of it. And Edinburgh got really lucky. So the Tiger 59 got 2 turrets, total of 4 barrels. Really pretty decent reload, but not fantastic. It's basically Minotaur guns, but with only 2 turrets and no torpedoes. The Tiger 59 is essentially, at least in my opinion, and I think in the opinion of some people that have played it a fair amount, kind of a support ship that is looking for opportunities to create problems from long range. It does have radar, but especially when up-tiered, it's debatable how useful that's going to be. Not having torpedoes seems to be the biggest complaint, and there are a number of them. This Edinburgh is obviously running hydro. As soon as we got within 5 kilometers, you could see the hydro indicator there. And Edinburgh looks to be backing up. I'm sure he's aware that he's got a Massachusetts bearing down on him. So now the question is, will the Edinburgh angle himself to be able to get torpedoes away? If he does, well, I think he's probably going to get sunk either way, but if he does show broadside, it's probably going to be in big trouble. You can see our hero has already got his guns aimed that way. The Eddie has smoked up, but at this range, secondaries begin firing on the Colorado. At this range, the Eddie's in big trouble. And if he fires again, when there's direct line of sight between him and Teufelhund, he will get lit up.
Torpedoes to port.
Torpedoes. It's on single fire and we'll get
Torpedoes,
as
dead ahead.
as possible. Just put his head out and do it for now. Prepare to stop flooding. Unbelievable. A lot of overpens. All comes out of the wash, and that is gone. Now, meanwhile, bad guys have sunk in Nagano and in Otago. Let's see where both of them were sunk. One in Germany, and the other east of Germany, kind of out where the war spots are. If you're looking at the mini-map. CB decides to come this way, but to no avail. Massachusetts AA combined with Bayern.
Fighter airborne.
No more aircraft.
Fighter destroyed.
Colorado is going to go for the... No, he's not going for the ram. He's still turning out. He's going to show broadside. That's probably not the right call, Colorado.
The ship is on fire.
This is probably going to do it for Colorado right
here. Enemy battleship foundered.
Fire finishes the job. Speaking of fire, yeah, there were two there on Teufelhund, Massachusetts. So we're a little over 6.5 minutes in, and Teufelhund sitting at just under 86,000 damage, with 741,000 potential damage.
Problem solved, sir.
Again, when top tier, Massachusetts, very tanky. Good guys are down 4 ships, bad guys are only down 2. But the good guys have 3 caps, bad guys only have 1. And that is keeping them well in the game, despite the fact that they're down a couple of ships. Hey, look who's there. Well, Pony Boobs Karsten. It may have been a good idea to keep track of where this Massachusetts was, because when it finds you this close, you really do not have much of a chance of surviving the encounter.
We've sunk an enemy aircraft carrier.
Enemy CB. Edinburgh probably has torps on the way. Teufelhund is going to risk it, turn around. The remainder of the aircraft are shot down. And secondaries are working on the Eddie. Well, we're about 8.5 minutes in. Teufelhund is sitting at just under 139,000 damage, 2 kills. Eddie manages to go dark. Kind of surprised we haven't seen torpedoes. Maybe he had already thrown them out. Maybe against Colorado. Colorado takes out the Megami. Shenyang torpedoes the Colorado almost immediately thereafter. Both teams now down 5 ships. Good guys, largely on the back of having a cap advantage, now have a roughly 170 point lead. Cossack in the middle doing some work. Lands torpedoes on New Mexico, or a torpedo. we're not quite 10 minutes in, and Teufelhund has picked up
Our
Confederate.
team has taken the lead.
And just about had the cat, but it's been fully reset. Broadside shot, made blind. Cross your fingers. Nope. Oh, Legal. Turns in and avoids the big shells, but I don't know that it's going to make a whole lot of difference because he's got Teufelhund here and a Fiji and ICOP on the other side. Now he probably has eyes on the
Victory is in sight.
friendly CV at this point, and that's probably where he's focused, but I don't think he's going to survive long enough to be able to do anything about it. Teufelhund manages to secure the cap. The Gall is turning out. It looks pretty good. There's a Confederate.
Fighter airborne.
Gets a plane in the air just in time to spot the key. Keep firing HE.
The ship is on fire.
That's an interesting choice, and that is a pirate bounty. It's worth some goodies if Teufel can drag down the key. Keep an eye on the water as well. There could be fish on the way. Key's showing a lot of broadside there. Teufel not able to punish him really for that, but the secondaries are going to work. Up around 177,000 damage at this point. There are the fish. And Key looks like he's positioning to be able to get the torpedoes out the other side. Tiger 59 doing his best to try and finish off the Key, but that's it. Great game.